to make a turn, a little left-hand turn on a blind hill. I didn't really think anything about it. And went to make that turn, and it was just this incredibly loud pop. It was like when you're watching a movie and the movie's changing scenes and the camera just starts spinning and spinning and spinning, and things get really out of focus. And that's what it was kind of like. 2-3 minutes later, my whole world flipped. I didn't know at that time that the motor in the whole front of the car was, basically resting, right on my legs, and it was so hot. And I remember, and then I kind of realized that it wasn't me. I wasn't the one on fire. And, it's one of my biggest fears is to be burned, trapped. And I thought, what am I going to do? And then I realized that it wasn't me. My consciousness is in and out, and so things are real pieced. I remember, them working on me. I remember them working on the car. I remember Mark Shatley.
When we arrived, Lindsey was behind the steering wheel. The dash had been forced in on her from the impact of the collision. She was pinned pretty much from her knees down. Her knees were just, I remember her left knee it was just terrible. It was gaped open pretty bad, and a lot of trauma to that. Her right arm, I remember her right arm was broken pretty severely. But it was pretty obvious that we were going to have quite a time getting her out. To get Lindsey out of the vehicle, what we had to do, first thing, we took the top off the car, where basically you're doing two things. One, you're giving yourself some room to work, and two, you're taking away some of the structural integrity of the box itself that the car is. After we got the top removed, we went down to the bottom of the A-post, down about where your brake pedal and gas pedal are, on the side of the door there. We make a relief cut, which that cut further weakens the integrity of the structure. And at that point, we take a set of hydraulic rams, and you take those rams and put one at the bottom of the door over here and one on the dash, and you basically roll the dash up off of the victim. That worked well, except that when we let back off to try to swing her out, the dash would collapse back down. There was no way to hold it.
Just crumble. And everybody, it was hot, and everybody was sweating, and they were working so hard, and they just couldn't get me out. I remember I couldn't breathe. It was so hard to catch my breath. It was so hard to breathe and to be calm.
So we wound up putting a chain around the steering column, around to the front bumper, and used the jaws of life, hooked them into a chain, and closed the jaws, which pulled the dash and the steering wheel up where we could turn her and get her out of the car. Physically, we were exhausted. You always want to get somebody out as fast as you can. It took us about 50 minutes to get her out of the car. And that's, it was a complex extrication. She was mashed up in there pretty bad. Like I said, physically, we were just due to the nature of July, South Arkansas, we were exhausted. But it takes a mental toll on you too, because, right over here on the other side of the road that you've got something else to deal with. We had another victim, that was deceased, that we had to remove from the wreckage of the other vehicle. Like I said, her level of consciousness was steady going down. She had lost a lot of blood. She had a lot of trauma. They flew her to hospital in Texarkana, and after that, they got her stabilized there and flew her to a trauma center somewhere out in East Texas.
After I was in the critical care unit for weeks, where I received 24-hour continual care. A central line, which is a line that they put into one of your bigger arteries, like in my neck. because I had so much, needed so much blood and needed so many medications and fluids and things like that. It was very lonely. That was a big part of recovery is, life goes on outside the world, and you're stuck in this little hole in this bed with all these tubes and stuff on you, and you can't get out. I was trapped.
I'll never forget, Emmanuel Baptist Church was having a 9/11 ceremony, appreciation ceremony for all the local public servants. And we were there. I was stationed just, right next door then. And we're getting ready for the service to start, and I looked back towards the back of the church and see Lindsey's dad wheeling her in a wheelchair. It's the first time she'd been out of the hospital and been to church since her accident. And I just remember being so proud that was one that we got back, She was almost gone, but that was one that we got back.
This is where my husband had an accident and was killed. Pat Griffin. He was coming back from town. He had been working. I wouldn't even drive down this road for a month after it happened. I was told what had happened. The steering wheel went up in his chest and the truck caught on fire. And they told me he died instantly. But they tried to put, and all the gas was in the back of the truck, so there was an explosion. They couldn't get Pat out. They put the truck on the wrecker and had to haul it to the wrecking yard, and it caught on fire again on the wrecker. So, but they finally got him out, but I had to have him cremated. It was an accident, that's what it was. And I don't fault anybody. And I never blamed anybody. I never told my kids. I just said it was an accident. They hit each other. After the accident happened and the people got here, there was a Bible laying in between both vehicles. And it was hers. It was her Bible. I had written her a letter after the accident happened. It might have been a month or so after it happened. She was still in the hospital. But I wrote her a letter, letting her know I didn't blame her, that it was just an accident. And we talked. I have no hard feelings against her. She's a wonderful lady. She's sweet. She's young. And she still has trouble. She has scars. His oldest son. I won't read it, it's personal, I guess. I didn't know it was there. He's 20 now. He's in the National Guard, going to college in Little Rock. I won't read it. That's to his daddy. There we go.
I've been told a lot of times that driving's is dangerous. I mean, you're passing within inches of another vehicle, driving as fast as you are or faster, and anything can happen at any second. So it was an accident, and I had to get over it. I had to learn to drive again. And there was a driveway on the other side of this hill, and this is it. I don't remember. I'll actually turn into the driveway, but I was turning right here, and we hit. This is my first time that I've ever gotten out of the vehicle and walked around since that day. I just remembered waking up in the car, but after it happened, but I remember pretty much everything now in scattered, muddled detail. Not in clear of what happened. So it's kind of weird being here and seeing it. You just have to, if you want to live, it's fight or flight. You make the best of your life. You've been given a second chance at this point. You're still here on earth. You're still alive. One day you will be able to try to learn to walk again, and you have to make the best of every day. You were given a second chance, and that's what I would tell people.